Hello, everyone. It is Thursday. It's Happy Healthcare Professionals live show, and it's me, Kamal, your host for today's show. I hope you guys are well and having a good week. Please do say hi in the comments if you are joining me live. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kamal. I'm a former national level pharmacist turned pharmacy career change coach. I am deeply, deeply passionate about helping my fellow pharmacy colleagues really reinvent their careers, forge a life and a career that they absolutely love, that they feel fulfilled in. They're ditching that overwhelm, they're ditching that feeling of being unfulfilled. That's what I want to help pharmacists to achieve. And I am so, so happy to be able to join you every single week for this live show. The Happy Healthcare Professionals live show is really here to help inspire you, to motivate you, and to help you to really start making changes in your life and your career that are right for you. And in today's session, I wanted to talk about the one missing investment that most pharmacists avoid making, and the one that's actually holding them back. So I'm really, really happy to share this with you today. If you are joining me live, do say hi in the comments. Do drop a little comment. I can see your comments. If you are joining me in the Pharmacy Freedom Method Facebook community, then you might need to allow StreamYard access to your name so that I can see it over here on StreamYard, because we're streaming live in two different places, on LinkedIn and in my Facebook community. So please do say hello. Hi, Vali. Nice to have you join us. Do drop me questions as well here. If you've got any questions at all, please feel free to message. Hi, Nada. Nice to have you join us. Do drop questions in. I am more than happy to help in any way, shape, or form that I can. And so let me dive into today's live. What I really wanted to talk about is something that we as pharmacists find really, really uncomfortable. And we're kind of used to investing, right? I'll give a story about myself. When I actually invested, my very, very first investment that I ever made was when I was 19 years old. And it's probably not the investment that most people would kind of think a 19-year-old might make. Maybe you might invest in a car. Maybe you might invest in going to university. But I didn't. I actually invested. My very, very first investment was I took my student loan from my very first year of university and I invested it in a medical fund. That's right. I invested it in a medical fund. And maybe some of you guys might be familiar with investing just to grow whatever income that you have. You might be familiar with investing in terms of your professional development. And I think as pharmacists, we really do love investing in our lifelong learning, right? Let me know in the comments if that's something that you have invested in for yourself. These are kind of all investments that we kind of feel really familiar with, really comfortable with, right? CPD, we know we have to do that every single year to stay on the register. And, you know, we do it, we enjoy it, and we love learning and increasing our knowledge. But the one thing that very few of us spend our time, money, and effort on in terms of developing ourselves is our self-development as pharmacists. And that's something that I want to talk about today, because I think it's such an important aspect of our development as individuals and as pharmacists. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you have invested in, or whether there's something that you haven't invested in. I would love to know. So I wanted to share a story about myself. In 2010, I was working at the pharmacy, at the National Pharmacy Association, and I had been working there for some time. And whilst I was enjoying my job, I really got to the point in my career where I felt like I just didn't know which direction I was going to go in now. I'd kind of moved up the ranks. I'd got to a level where I thought, okay, that's kind of where I can get to. And I was a team leader. And I really didn't know which direction I could go in from that point. I was hungry for doing something else, but I just didn't know what that was going to look like. And so I kind of scoured the careers pages, as you do, looked at the back of the PJ. If anyone is as old as I am, then you will know that everyone used to look in the back of the PJ for jobs. Scoured kind of all the places that I could at the time to have a look and see what other jobs were out there. And a lot of them felt like they were kind of sideways moves, really. And I wasn't really interested in doing that. I just thought, I just want something completely different. So I started to speak with my friends about it and colleagues, and, just really kind of trying to understand what direction can I go in now. I had got to the point where I was getting up every single morning, going to work, going, is this it? And maybe you can relate to that, because we've all been there in our jobs at some stage where we've been doing the role for some time, and you just kind of feel like there's got to be something else, right? So that I was at that point. I spoke to some friends of mine who happened to be working in regulatory affairs at the time. And they were working in a couple of pharma companies, and they were old university friends of mine. So I spoke to them and I said, regulatory affairs, that sounds really interesting. I wonder what that's like. So they gave me some advice about a pharmacist entering into the pharma space. And I went off and I spent 2 days. I took 2 days holiday, and I spent 2 days doing a course with the Organization for Regulatory Affairs Professionals, TOPRA, learning about regulatory affairs. It was a 2-day introductory course, and I took 2 days annual leave, and then I went off and I did this course for 2 days to really understand what it was that regulatory affairs individuals do. And at that point, I'd invested quite a lot of money in this course. I think it was somewhere around like £600 or something for this course, for this 2-day course, which at the time for me was quite a big investment. And I was really convinced that regulatory affairs was the thing that I was going to do, and that was the direction that I was really going to go in. And I was ready to move into pharma. And so I was doing this course. And as I was going through the course, and I was spending 2 days of sitting there and really understanding what regulatory affairs was, how it operated, what it meant within the pharma industry, how important it was to the pharma industry, I came away from those 2 days of doing that course only to realize that I didn't want to be a regulatory affairs professional. I just didn't want to do it. It just was not something that was floating my boat. I couldn't see myself becoming a regulatory affairs professional. I couldn't see myself working in pharma. And I felt really deflated. I'd done a 2-day course, and I came away and I was like, I actually don't want to do that thing. I'd spent all this money on really understanding what regulatory affairs was, only to come away to realize that that's not what I wanted to do. Now, if you have ever done a course, or you've ever taken a course and you think, right, this is the thing that I'm going to do, and I'm really going to, get my teeth stuck into it, and I'm going to really learn this subject matter or this topic or, this pivot. And either it falls flat on its face, or you come away and you're just like, that wasn't for me. You know how it feels to have done a course and come away feeling like you wish you hadn't made that investment. And if you have been there, then let me know, because I, at that point, was just so deflated. I thought, oh my God, I've done this course in regulatory affairs, and I don't want to be a regulatory affairs professional. But I want you to realize that we all take courses, and I'm sure that we've all done things that, we really wanted to do. And we think at the time, yeah, that's what the direction that I want to go in. And you do it, and maybe you don't finish the course. Maybe you run out of steam. Maybe you've signed up to something and you've thought, yeah, great, I'll do that in 3 months' time or 6 months' time. We all come away wanting to learn more. That's just kind of inherent in us, especially as pharmacists. We love learning. We love expanding our experiences. But the biggest lesson for me came several years later when I was in my maternity leave and I started up my turmeric supplement brand, Amala Pure Health. And I enrolled on a startup course. And the startup course was designed to help professionals moving out of their city jobs into creating a business of their own. And I was really excited about this course because I was convinced that this course was going to help me to build my business. It was going to help me to work out how I was going to grow and scale my business. And I walked in on the very first day of this course, and it was a 3-month course that I had taken. It was an evening course that I'd taken. And so I was going to work at that point, I was working at PSNC. I was going to work at PSNC and then heading off to this course in the evenings. And my son was only a year old. He literally had turned a year old, and I was doing this course. And I walked into the very first day of this course, and we were all sat down. There was about 40 of us. We were all sat down, and we were asked not to share which businesses we wanted to do, not to talk about what ideas we had in terms of our businesses, but actually we were asked an even more important question. And that question was, what are your values? And what is your mission in life? And what's important to you? And those 3 questions absolutely stumped me. I had no idea what I was going to answer to these questions because I had never, ever looked at my life from that perspective. I'd never, ever sat down and said to myself, what are my values? What do I want to achieve in my life? What is my mission in my life? And in that moment, I was asked to really ask myself some really important questions. And that's something that I really wanted to share with you guys today, because as pharmacists, we are really, really familiar with our career paths that have been laid out for us in terms of the professional development that we need to undertake, in terms of the CPD that we need to take, in terms of the knowledge that we need to build. But we very, very rarely invest in our own self-development. And I didn't realize at the time, but when I actually did that course, it was actually a self-development course. Because although it was packaged up as being the course that is to help city professionals come out of their jobs and start to create businesses of their own, actually it was asking an even more fundamental question of all of us. And that is, what is it that we wanted to achieve in our lives? And why did we want to achieve that in our lives? If that's resonating with you, let me know in the comments, because this is something that I feel really, really passionate about when it comes to us developing ourselves as professionals. We not only have to develop our knowledge, but we also have to develop our personal selves, really. And that is about introspection. That's about looking at ourselves internally and saying, who are we as individuals? What is our mission in our life? And what is it that we really want to achieve with our careers and our lives overall? So the missing investment that I'm talking about here is the investment in our own self-development. If you've done any self-development courses, or you have done any work in self-development, I would love to know about those in the comments. And I'd love to know what I'm saying, whether any of that is actually resonating with you guys, if that's actually resonating with you and that's kind of landing for you. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. So I hope that kind of makes sense. In terms of our missing investment, I really do believe that as pharmacists, we need to spend much more time on developing ourselves, which feels really, really uncomfortable from the perspective of self-development, because we kind of feel like it's a bit selfish, to be honest. That's kind of how we feel. We feel like when we spend time and money and effort on developing ourselves, it feels really, really selfish. Like we should be giving our time and our energy to others. And that is what we are known to do as healthcare professionals, right? In fact, that's what we love doing. But we equally have to spend time on understanding who we are as individuals, what it is that we want to achieve in our lives, and why we want to achieve that. And that only comes through self-development. And that only comes through investing the time and the effort and the money in actually understanding what that is for yourself and moving in a direction that is from there. So going back to the startup, that course that I did, when we were asked these questions of what are our values, what's our mission, why do we want to achieve that mission? The reason why we were asked those questions was because from that point onwards, whatever we were to do in our lives, whatever businesses we were to set up, whatever direction we were to go in, we were to be guided by those principles, by those values, those missions, and that why that we had set out for ourselves from that point onwards. And that's where I feel that those years of me figuring out which direction I wanted to go in, really, I couldn't figure out which direction I wanted to go in because I hadn't spent enough time in understanding who I was, what my mission was, and the direction that I wanted to go in. Someone said, I have qualified as a hypnobirthing instructor and feel that this course has made me a better pharmacist. It gives me so much enjoyment to talk about it. So even if I don't make much money from it, I have gained in so many other ways: ability to connect with people, ability to cope under pressure, better decision making, complements my job and family life really well. So I'm so happy for you, whoever that is. I can't see your name. I'm really sorry, but I'm so happy that you have gained that from that experience, because I have to say for myself personally, that is very true. All the courses that I have done that have been non-pharmacy related, I have gained so much from those courses. And you're absolutely right when you say it makes you a better pharmacist. It really, really does. I genuinely do believe that. My coaching experience has made me a much more aligned pharmacist. Sarah, thank you, Sarah. I'm so happy that you did that hypnobirthing course and that has made you a better pharmacist. I couldn't agree more, because I would say exactly the same for myself. I've done courses in prescribing lifestyle medicine, in functional medicine. I've trained as a health coach, and all of these experiences absolutely, I believe, make me a better pharmacist, and make me who I am, because they are much better aligned to the direction that I wanted to go in. Because all of those courses I did after this experience of exploring myself, what I wanted to achieve in my life, who I wanted to be, and what my mission was going to be in life. So I really hope that you guys take that away from today's session, that you spend some time on introspection, that you really take the opportunity to really understand who you are, because I promise you it will make you so much more better as a pharmacist. Exactly what Sarah, talked about in her comment. It does make you better as a pharmacist. It makes you much better as a healthcare professional, and you become so much more aligned to the work that you're doing, and you feel so much more connected to the work that you're doing. So I hope that you found that useful today. Let me know in the comments if you have. And of course, if you have any questions about any of what I've talked about today, then do drop them in the comments. And if you're watching this on the replay, then drop them in the comments too. And of course, if you've got any questions about your career, you're not sure about which direction to go in, then do reach out to me. I will be more than happy to support you and help you on that journey. So do reach out to me. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic, fantastic rest of the week. If you have any questions, drop them, let me know, and I shall see you next week. We have got some really, really great interviews coming up over the next few weeks as part of the Happy Healthcare Professionals live show. I have got Nabila, who is the amazing head of pharmacy at Babylon, coming in a few weeks' time. And I have got an incredible pharmacist from the US as well, who's going to be joining us. She is in the functional medicine space and the cannabis space, and she's doing some amazing, amazing things. And so I can't wait to share these stories with you as well. And I really, really hope that you have a fantastic week. And I shall see you here back next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, live right here on LinkedIn and in the Pharmacy Freedom Method community too. Take care. Bye.